Thanks for tuning in to the Secure the Perimeter podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk about how to streamline your business. We get a lot of questions for young entrepreneurs that talk about, Brent, how can I streamline my business and make my business more efficient? Because I have a lot of clunkiness to it. It's my fulfillment process is not very good. It's very arduous and it's very, broken. Per se. So in this episode, we're going to talk about that. We're going to break it down by its elements. We're going to talk about the importance of creating processes, policies, standards, procedures in your business to make your business more streamlined and efficient. And in doing that, it not only helps streamline your business and make it more efficient, but it also illuminates all of the problems and all of the areas that could use improvement. The clunkiness, the broken, the missed gaps in your fulfillment process, your ordering process, or just the initial engagement. And so in this episode, we're going to talk about that. We're going to break it down, and we're going to demonstrate how you can illuminate the problems that you have and what to do about those problems. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, thanks for joining the Secure the Perimeter podcast.
Welcome to the Secure the Perimeter podcast.
Welcome to this week's episode of Secure the Perimeter podcast. We're going to go off script a little bit this week, and we're going to talk about a lot of questions coming across from different entrepreneurs about how can I make my business more efficient and more streamlined. Brent, you talk about this a lot, and quite frankly, we don't have the playbook for making a very efficient business. I would actually encourage a lot of you guys. There's a lot of business books out there, a lot of entrepreneurial books out there that would help you guys. A book that comes to mind is The Invincible Company that I picked up, and it's literally a playbook for, how to streamline your business in different ways. But this week, we're going to go off script a little bit, and we're going to talk it through a little bit. We're going to break it down for you guys so you guys can understand. And new entrepreneurs, or whether you've been in business for a long time, this is all relevant information. And so what does it take to make your business more streamlined? A lot of businesses just shoot from the hip, and just do things a very arduous way because they just have a way of doing things, and they've never established policies. My number one rule of thumb in any kind of business is you have to establish a playbook or policies. And the way you do that is you basically break down, whatever it is you do, whether you own a cupcake shop or you're involved in selling services or you're in a service-based type business where you install a product or you service the product, you have to have policies in place for everybody that does something. Another great book that I have read within the last year is 7 Power Contractor, a great book written by a fellow who helped streamline Tommy Mello's business, the big garage door guy out in Arizona. And Tommy also wrote his own book called Elevate. And in those books, they talk about how they systemized their business, and they documented everything. And in your business, I think it's vital. I think it's critical. You have to document everything. You have to document how you do everything, from initially picking up the phone and answering the phone to installing the product or servicing the product or building your cupcake, whatever that is. And in doing this, you're going to do a lot of things for your business. But the number one thing, the key component, the key ingredient is making your business more streamlined, more efficient, and more automated, because you want your business to work for you. You don't want to be working for your business all the time. That's great when you're a newly launched business or a young entrepreneur. But as you start to develop and grow your company, you want to start putting processes and systems in place in which they can function and operate your company for you. Along the way, in documenting, the policies, the procedures, the systems, the processes in which you follow, you're going to want to have KPIs. And if you don't know what KPIs are key performance indicators. They're waypoints. They're set points along the way in your business that show you and demonstrate what the progress looks like. They are performance indicators to show you exactly how the business is performing. What's the efficiency rate? What's your return on investment? What's your ROAS if you're talking about marketing? Your return on ad spend? If you've built a sales funnel, if you're looking for, more organic traffic. Lots of different things, and so you want to write policies for all of these things, and you want to have KPIs, and so that you can evaluate performance. In my own business, we strive on being a performance-based business. Everything we do is based on performance. What are the results? What is the return rate? What is the efficiency of solving a customer problem? How do we increase and enhance the customer experience? All of these things are KPIs. And so in doing this, when you document everything, you're trying to automate the process and you're trying to get achievable results. And so as you begin to write a policy for answering the phone, how do you answer the phone? How do you respond to the customer? How do you route the customer? That's another big one. A lot of people that will pick up the phone and call a company, it's a very arduous experience to get through to their tech support team or to get some kind of technical support. Most of that stuff is offshored these days and outsourced, and we all know how that is faring for everyone right now in this current climate. So write these policies out and what it looks like. And as silly as it may sound and as tedious as it may sound, you might say, well, that's great, Brent, but I'm not going to write a policy on how to answer the phone. To be honest, I really think you ought to rethink that strategy because it really does matter. How you answer the call, the tone of voice you're using, how you route the customer. You want as few steps in routing a customer as possible. People don't want to sit on the phone for, 15 minutes, let alone sit on the phone for 4 minutes or 5 minutes. It's kind of a long process for them. So how do I route the call for the customer quickly, get them where they need to go, and get, as we call it, rounds down range? How do we get impact on target with the customer to make them have a better customer experience? They're not waiting on hold for a long time, or they didn't get routed to the wrong department. So in essence, we're trying to automate the business. And so we write these policies. When you write these policies, talk it through with your team, sit down and meet with your team on a regular basis, because a lot of people are going to have great ideas, and you're not going to do this on the first go round. You're going to have to do this over a certain amount of time. It's going to take some time to establish the policies for each and every role in your organization. Even if you have 2 employees or you have 250 employees, every interdepartment matters, and everybody's job in that interdepartment matters. So when you do this, when you document things, you start writing policies and procedures and systems and processes in order to do these jobs, these different jobs in your organization. Say you're manufacturing, assault weapons. You want policies in place for the QC process, the quality control process. How do I do a functions check on a weapon before I box it and ship it to the customer? How do I ensure that every box has been checked? And so I create a checklist of things that need to be done before that product is put into a box and packaged and shipped to the customer. Because even logistics matters. How you ship it to the customer, when you ship it to the customer, and what the presentation looks like when the customer receives it. Because to that point, really, your product is not finished until the customer receives it and goes through unpackaging the product experience. Because that, again, all these, as I say all the time, the money is in the details. The money's in the details. And so the more details you put to your product, your process, your policies, your standards, the better of an experience your customer is going to have. And so you've got to put in the work and do these things. And I know it's arduous, and I know nobody likes to have all these meetings, and nobody likes to document everything and then obviously and then continuously follow through to refine the process. But it really will help your business in the long run. It will pay you dividends over time. It's a lot of upfront time capital that you're going to have to put into the process, but it will pay you dividends. We document everything, and we follow our process, and then we talk it through. But another thing that you need to do is follow through and walk it through the process again and see, okay, can I cut 2 or 3 steps out of the process by doing this, or this, or can I make it more streamlined and efficient if I do it this way versus this way? And so you have all these, again, key performance indicators along the way that you can measure to see what kind of results you're getting. In our organization, we had a very arduous process of just receiving a lead, engaging with the lead, and then driving the lead to some kind of a commitment for the product that we offer. And so what we had to do is we had to sit down and write it out, and then we had to talk it through. And we went from receiving the phone call or the inbound lead to then engaging with that potential lead and then converting that lead to a customer. What's the conversion rate? How did we convert? When did they make the decision to go with us and use our product or our service? And so when we did that, we were able to cut out a lot of clunky steps along the way that made the process more lengthy and more arduous. And so when we did that, we streamlined the process almost immediately, and then we talked it through. A lot of entrepreneurs out there want the easy button, and there is no easy button. This is the midnight oil of investing real time in your business to cultivate or plow the field, as we call it, to make your business better. And if you're not willing to invest the time to do this, then you're not willing to grow. There's so many topics we can cover, from innovation to evolving and growing your company to pivoting and what that looks like and how you do that. But the thing that you really need to focus on a lot if you're a young entrepreneur is, how do I streamline my business and make it very easy? A one-click stop for a lot of customers. A lot of people like to shop online. Now you can literally have suits delivered to your door. And so for Amazon, if you guys have ever heard the Amazon story or read books about the Amazon business, they went through a lot of growing pains on how do they make the experience for the customer so much simpler and easier. And it's no surprise that Amazon is $1 trillion business, because they've made it easy for customers to get now medications to their door, groceries to their door, clothes to their door, products to their door, all within just a couple of clicks. And most people nowadays get, angry and upset if they don't receive something in, guaranteed 2 days. So think these things through in your business. Document it, write policies and procedures for it, follow your KPIs, and follow through. Doing these things are going to ignite a fire in your business and really set your business up to grow. And it's a lot of work, but you need to do this. So I hope that I've answered a lot of your questions in regard to streamlining your business and making it more efficient. And in some of the next episodes, we'll get down into the details of what that really looks like, and maybe even talk about some stories. So share some of your stories down below. Click the link. Like our channel. It's how we get out there to many other people, and subscribe. And hopefully, next episode, we'll have a lot more great topics for you on the Secure the Perimeter podcast.